Hi guys, I am back finally. I know I said I was gonna post this a few days ago, but I apologize. I was traveling, so now I am back and I want to talk about why you should not fear intrusive thoughts or even negative thoughts. So I want to start by saying that you are creating your reality and your dominant thoughts, your beliefs, your assumptions, your state of being, and everything that it's called your inner world, that is creating and that is going to determine the circumstances of your life. So that doesn't change. I just want to start with this because this is the basis, this is the foundation that you are in control of your life. You are not a victim. You are not, you shouldn't be scared. But some people still are because I don't know, maybe you're a beginner and you hear about, mindset, manifestation. You're like, what is this? Let me try. Let me see if this is working. I don't know if this is working. This is always working. You cannot stop it, it's working by default. And this made sense to me back when I started, like I started 5 years ago. But in the beginning, when I was hearing all these terms and all this information, I started thinking about my past. And that made so much sense because it was always me expecting something to happen that ended up happening. So then I was like, well, yeah, even if I created something, I don't know, unfavorable or negative, it was still me doing it. So it just made sense to me. Like, I don't have to be afraid because I decide, I'm in control of what's going on in here. I don't know why I made it like in here. Anyways, so you are in control of what's happening with your life. You do not have to be afraid. But like I said, maybe in the beginning you feel scared because you hear all of this and you don't know if it's true. Maybe it's a scam, maybe it's a lie, maybe this is not how it's working. But you don't have to believe me. Just look at your life and how things unfolded in your life so far and see if you can find some sort of correlation. Maybe I was fearing this, maybe I was thinking this, maybe this, and it ended up happening. So another thing I want to say, I hope this video isn't all over the place, but I just keep getting more ideas as I'm talking. So another thing is fears. I get asked a lot, why do fears happen so quick? Why do they manifest? And you don't have to be afraid of fears because even fears are thoughts, beliefs, or assumptions, but they have like a lot of emotions toward them. You're like really, really scared that this is gonna happen. And so it ends up happening because like it's very dominant inside of you. And I had a post on Twitter the other day about dominant thoughts. And what is a dominant thought? A dominant thought is something that you either believe is going to happen, or you expect it to happen, or you assume it's going to happen, or it just makes sense that it's going to happen, or you repeat it a lot, or you focus on it a lot. The more you focus on something, the more you're gonna see it, gonna get it. So like I said, when you have a fear, it's just you're like really, really scared and you're thinking about it and you're dwelling on it, and it's really in here. So it ends up happening. Well, you can do the same, but for the positive. I'm not gonna tell you to fear what you want. Like, let's say you want, I don't know, money or love, or you're not gonna fear that. That's not what I'm suggesting, but you should focus a lot on that. If it's something that you really, really want, focus on that until it happens. You don't have to stop and just do nothing. And this is something that used to piss me off in the past when I was a beginner. I just kept hearing, oh, if you want something, just let it go. Like think about it and like let it go, and just don't be attached to it. Don't obsess over it. It was almost like, oh, my precious, I cannot even touch you. I cannot think about you. You know, I need to stay away from you. No. And the more I started to be in control of my life, the more ridiculous that idea became to my mind. I was like, what? If I want something, first of all, of course, I'm thinking about it a lot. So if I think about it a lot, then I need to think about it like it's already done so I can get it. Why am I just not to touch it ever? You know, that idea never made sense to me. And I'm here to tell you, I'm honest. You know, guys, I'm brutally honest. This is my flaw, okay? And I say flaw because a lot of people are like, you're too honest. I'm sorry, but this is me. So the things that, because I tested this 3 years ago with let it go and, you know, no, never think about it again. Those things never happened. They never happened. They didn't end up happening, you know? So what I successfully manifested, it was just me focusing on it, saying, I have it, it's happening, it's done. So the problem is not that you're obsessed with your desires, because of course you're going to be obsessed when you want something, especially like, I don't know, money, or like when you are in desperate situations, like, of course I need that, you know, like I really need it. Of course I'm going to think about it. I cannot chill. I cannot go to bed and be like, oh, I'm okay. No, you're gonna be a bit maybe desperate, maybe a bit needy. Of course, that's normal. Don't feel bad for that. In fact, don't let anyone make you feel bad for anything, because you make the rules. This is your life. You get to decide what happens for you. So you do not need to tolerate and accept BS that you no longer want. If someone is telling you that you should, like, because like I said in the beginning, the conversation was like, you should be scared, like, what if your intrusive thoughts manifest? What if your fears manifest? What if this manifests? You need to take control of that, okay? First of all, let me debunk this quick, because not every intrusive thought manifests. Like, let's say I'm going into the bathroom, okay, and I see a spider, and maybe in my head I'm gonna be like, oh my god, what if the spider turns into Batman or something like that? But then immediately I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. This is a ridiculous thought. So of course it's not going to manifest. Of course it's not going to happen, because it doesn't make sense. So not every intrusive thought manifests, especially the ones that you label them as ridiculous, you know? And I want to encourage you to do this with everything. Label them as ridiculous. Even if you have a negative thought, let's say you're manifesting, I don't know, money or love, and you are saying like, I have so much money, I'm so rich, and then you're like, oh, but I don't, oh, but this. No, that is a ridiculous thought that doesn't belong in here. It doesn't make sense, because I'm creating my reality, I'm creating my circumstances, I'm creating my life, and that thought doesn't belong in here. It's not welcome. It's ridiculous. So I want you to label it as ridiculous. Your circumstances are ridiculous. Anything that you see that you don't want to experience, label it as ridiculous. It doesn't even make sense to fear it, because it's ridiculous. When you understand your power and who you are, and you take the role of in control of your life, the creator of your life, there's nothing to be like fearing, or, you know, be scared. Oh, I should be scared. Why should I be scared? It doesn't make sense, you know? And if you are in a, like I said, maybe you're a beginner and you don't know your power, or you don't believe in this, or you still have doubts, then you need to work on that part of you and literally tell yourself every day that you are seeing more evidence that it is you who is doing this. It is you who is in control of your reality. You are responsible for your reality. Nobody else is. You are responsible for the thoughts you have, the beliefs you have, the assumptions you have, everything that is happening inside of you. You are responsible. And I'm not saying this as in, again, you should not be scared, like, oh my God, I'm responsible. This should be empowering, like, oh my God, this is my responsibility. Of course, I can do anything. I can change it if it's something that I do not like. So the moral is, you do not accept what you do not want, and you label it as ridiculous. Intrusive thoughts, negative thoughts, unwanted circumstances, old story, it is completely ridiculous. I don't even need to think about it twice. It's like that spider in the bathroom, okay? I see it and bye. I'm not scared of you, okay? You're not gonna turn into Batman or something. You're just a ridiculous thought. So this is how you need to look at your circumstances. And I don't want to make this video too long, because I genuinely wanted to talk about, for today, I wanted to talk about this idea of you not fearing and not being scared of your thoughts. Because there was a discussion on Twitter and someone said that, oh, you shouldn't tell people that their thoughts are creating, because not every thought creates. And yeah, obviously I thought that I don't have to say that, because of course not every thought. We're talking about dominant thoughts, and if you want to call them beliefs, but it's not like a thought doesn't always have to be a belief, okay? If you have automatic things that you believe, maybe those are already on autopilot happening. But if you want to integrate a new one, you start thinking about it, you focus on it, you keep thinking about it, you keep focusing on it, and you're gonna see evidence, and that is gonna progress towards being a belief. So that's what I'm saying. Not only beliefs create, your thoughts too, but again, not every thought. The dominant thoughts, the thoughts that you're focusing on, that you're expecting, that makes sense to you, not a random ridiculous thought. I know I said ridiculous a lot, but when you're doing your saturation session or your mental diet, or whatever you do, I want you to think about this. If unwanted thoughts come to your mind, I just want you to remember this video and be like, this is so ridiculous. This doesn't even make sense. Like, what am I even worried about? It's completely ridiculous. Okay, guys, that's all I have for today. I will see you in the next one. And I love you all. Have a beautiful evening. Bye-bye.